Hello, Grimsimmer, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you want to see this house go from this to this, then keep on watching. So today I'm renovating Bonny Bungalow from The Sims 2 and The Sims 4, and if you haven't already, check out part 1 of this video where I build Bonny Bungalow exactly how it comes in The Sims 2 in The Sims 4. So I went ahead and changed the windows and exterior paint to white and added a dark roof. I'm also trying to add these spalding things later, and is that what they're called? The column connectors that hang above? Does that make sense? But anyways, I tried to add them and I think that they look really ugly, so I ended up scrapping that idea. And then for the general vibe of the exterior, I gave it a cute meadow feel, at least I think so, which honestly, now that I think about it, doesn't really match the vibe that I gave it inside. And you'll see that, but I once again went for a more earthy black and white tones in the house. I tried to add some pops of blue and green with plants and the couches. I ended up using blue couches, but for the most part, earthy beige tones. I don't know, I just think that that looks really nice. This is a side note, but I think from now on I'll combine the speed build recreations and renovations into just one video, and then I'll plan on posting the recreations and renovations on Tuesday, commentary videos every Thursday, and then an original speed build on Sundays. I really like commentary videos and editing them, even though they quite literally suck the life out of me because they require so much work. But also, maybe that's just because I filmed and edited my Journey to Batu review over the course of 2 days, so maybe that was just too much for me, I don't know. I know I'm also literally uploading this on a Sunday, even though I just said that I wouldn't, but regardless, from now on, that'll be my schedule going forward. I decided to use rocks instead of the fencing because they look a lot nicer to me in builds in terms of landscaping. I also, though, don't have all the packs, so maybe I'm just severely missing out on what we actually have. But we don't have very many low-rise fencing options, if I can remember correctly at least. That's totally something I'd like to see in the new Sims expansion pack that they said that they're announcing in a couple weeks. Which, speaking of that, what did you think of the letter that the Sims team put out? I can't remember any other time the team put something like that out, and I was honestly shocked that they addressed anything, but sort of glad that they told us up front that babies, cars, farms, and bunk beds weren't in the upcoming expansion. Because as a big fan of the franchise, I get really sad seeing all the negative comments, so I just want better for Yay. Well, I also want better for the Sims community too, but The Sims as a brand just seems like an old-time friend. Does that make sense? I've been playing since I was 8 years old and now I'm 22, so it just sort of feels that way. I'm so ready for Sims 5 to come out. I like The Sims 4, but I'm so excited to see what The Sims 5 will bring, honestly. I think we have a couple more years in store for The Sims 4 actually though, which is just crazy because it's been out since 2014. I'm also curious to see if EA will make the same mistakes as they did for The Sims 4, like not adding pools or something. Oh my god, could you imagine the uproar that would bring? For some reason though, I just wouldn't put it past them. The shape of the living room for this build really irritates me because there isn't a lot of centering that I can do with where the doors and windows are. Also, yes, I just tested the couch outside to get its true color, and I think I even have lights already placed inside. Does anybody else do that? Maybe that's also a Mac graphics issue, I don't know. Sounds like it at least. I'm really trying to save up for a gaming PC or a gaming laptop to replace this one, but those are super expensive. If you have any recommendations, please let me know in the comments. I literally don't know anything about graphics or what makes a good computer for gaming, so any information would be really useful. Despite me hating the shape of this living room, I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. For some reason, the way that I put the coffee table irks me, but I thought that was just the best way to do it. You know, I do like how big this space is. I think it's nice for family gatherings or get-togethers, and if you have seasons, you know, a Christmas tree, maybe where the bookcase is, would look so cute. I think the Sims team did do seasons right. Generally, the seasons packs are really good across the board, but they really stepped up their game with the Sims 4 seasons. One of the main things lacking in the Sims 4 is gameplay, as we all know, but seasons honestly has it. I like the grand meal options, and I use the tree options to decorate and light together literally all the time. It really does perfectly catch the vibe of Christmas and other holidays in my opinion. I know I mentioned Christmas in my last build, but I really do love it. But I also forgot to change the hall bathroom door to white until about the very end. Well, actually I changed all of the doors except for the slider in the kitchen, but I'm literally a mess. Hopefully my commentary and decor skill makes up for it. Unless you think the interior is ugly too, I don't know. Then I'm probably not doing much to help myself here, but I'm trying, I promise. Like I mentioned earlier, I seriously need to buy a computer with better graphics. So I do sit here for a while and go through a bunch of different kitchen options, which I debated editing it out, but I thought that maybe it would be nice to see the evolution of the kitchen as a whole. In the beginning, it's giving us, Kirkland home decor vibes, but it ends up being more contemporary in the end. I'll be honest though, if somebody told me to describe the difference between modern and contemporary, I absolutely would not be able to. I have a weird thing about dining tables and kitchens that aren't just a breakfast nook, and if I do end up putting a dining table in there, I have an even harder time justifying putting a rug under the table that's in there too. I think of all the food that gets dropped on the floor in kitchens and it just grosses me out. I would never want that in my own personal kitchen. Imagine a long hair rug under that table. I would hope that no one would be dumb enough to do that, since all the food dropped down would just get stuck in the rug hair. Ew. It would probably mold too. Not to shame you if you have a rug under your dining table IRL, I just can't handle it. I'm honestly not even really sure what I'm doing here, but I do go back to the kitchen and just yeah, here I go. I go back to the kitchen and now I'm changing up the counters. It's still giving me Kirkland vibes like I mentioned earlier, and that is just not a good look for a house. I ended up using these counters from Jungle Adventure. I think that they're my favorite counters in game, and I really like the swatch. I think that the gray looks really good with the brick on the wall and the flooring. Well, the flooring that I end up choosing. I go through a lot of different options here because I thought that the flooring that I had originally just was a little bit too orange. Anyways, this is pretty self-explanatory. If you're interested in lots from The Sims 3, my next video is a recreation and renovation of Myrtle Bungalow from The Sims 3 in Sunset Valley. Like I said, that'll be one video instead of being split into two. The week after that, I'll be building another lot from The Sims 2 requested by Nerdith. I hope I'm saying that correctly. They requested 95 Woodland Drive from Pleasant View, which is another one of my favorite lots personally. Between The Sims 2 and The Sims 3, I'm not sure which I prefer more. I used to adamantly say The Sims 2, but there are a lot of aspects about The Sims 3 that are so good. The open world alone makes such a big difference, and the story progression, yeah. I guess there are mods for that in The Sims 4, but something about The Sims 3 just hits different, you know what I'm saying? Also, the fact that I just completely ignored The Sims 1, that's sad. But I was born in 1998, if that explains anything. I did play The Sims 1 for a long time, but I don't have the same memories of The Sims 1 that I do with The Sims 2 and 3. Actually, I'm not sure if I played The Sims 1 before. I played the Herbs on PS2. My friend and I in elementary school were obsessed with playing that. Oh my god. Every Friday, I would spend the night at her house and we'd play the Herbs and listen to Hannah Montana songs or something on repeat. It was so fun. This is the master bedroom, and I went for a more grayscale and blue color theme, which really isn't a shocker considering the rest of the colors of the house, and I thought that just made sense, so yeah. I really wanted to try and incorporate a clock into this build as well. I feel like I never really use the clocks that come with The Sims, which is such a shame because they could end up looking like really good wall centerpieces. But I ended up not using one just because I didn't think that there was a good spot to put it in the house, so. I used to use alarm clocks in game for Sims 2 and Sims 3, I think. One of them I used to use a lot in game. I find adding clutter to objects really tedious, especially because I need to put them in specific places. I don't like where they're snapped to. I feel like it just looks really unnatural. It just takes a lot of work on my end, and I know what you're thinking. Why don't you just not do that? I can't. To me, the build will look incomplete. I filmed this over 2 days because I can't sit and finish anything in one sitting apparently. So that's why there was that jump cut a couple seconds ago. I did that in my last 2 videos too. I never finish a room in one sitting or finish the whole landscape, so I don't know. Anyways, I decided to turn this into a toddler room because I thought this would be a nice home for a family to grow in and start off if they decided to have kids. I really like the color scheme, but the room itself just seemed a little bit big for toddler stuff. I struggled just a little bit trying to fill it up, but it looks full by the end, don't worry. I went for a bear theme in this room. I put, the bear chair, and then I have that bear in the corner. I also used the little bear that's holding a heart that you'll see me place here in a second as decor as well. So, plus the panda lay, I just noticed. That's a bear, but anyways, so it has like a whole earth vibe just because I thought that matched the house as well. So maybe if we assume that the parents are into home gardening things, which I end up putting gardening things in the backyard as well, so I guess it kind of makes sense. So I figured that this was the kind of theme a family like this would give their toddler room, if that makes sense. I use these cute wall lights behind the bed as well, and they're for kids, and I've just never used them before. I don't even think I knew they existed. I thought that they were that little night light wall light, if that makes sense, but they're really cute and they have little bears, at least I think they're bears on them. So I thought that they were a good touch to the room as well. And now I am finally doing the bathroom. I really like that shower head from the university expansion pack. I know a lot of people in the community wanted a shower like that. And then I used this wall divider from Eco Lifestyle that I thought looked really cool. I'm not really sure how practical that would be in real life, but I think that it looks really good there. And if we just pretend that there's some plastic pane or glass pane over the leaves or in between the leaves or something like that, I think that that would be really cool actually to have in your shower. I kept this bathroom pretty simple for the most part. I mean, the most intensive thing that I did was really put that plant there on the counter. I tried to modernize it a bit by changing the flooring and the wallpaper in there, so I hope that it looks a little bit better. Shout out to Spa Day because that does make the best bathrooms in my opinion. I mean, despite all that though, I really still don't like furnishing bathrooms. I think it's kind of boring. Like, we get it. There's a toilet, there's a shower, and a sink. What more do you need? I don't care to decorate it. Like, my sim is just in there for a couple minutes, you know, whatever. I'm not sure if you can hear this in the background yet of this voiceover, but I currently live with my sister and I have a niece and a nephew, one in age 5, my nephew's 5, and he's been screaming and throwing a tantrum for the last like 20 minutes, so I really hope you can't hear that in the background. I also share a bedroom with him. It's not the most ideal, but it puts a roof over my head, you know, so you make do with what you can. I'm just finishing and fixing a couple things left in the house, like changing the door and fixing paintings before I head on to the backyard and start furnishing. Well, porch, but then I go to the backyard. You get the point. I forgot to put a tree in the front yard, and I really meant to because it looks a little bit bare. I'm gonna go back in and add one right before I do the b-roll shots at the end that you'll see. So when you download it from the gallery, if you do, there will be a tree in the front yard and you'll see how it looks, obviously. So I mentioned earlier that I thought the family that would live here would be a little bit into the earth. I don't know. Does that make sense? They like gardening. Does that make them earth people? I don't know. But regardless, maybe they're into planting. I hope they are because they have planting boxes in the backyard. Maybe they're into chess too. So that's kind of my go-to when I don't know what to put there. I'll just put a chess table or like a bird bath. I think I mentioned this, but I don't really like doing backyards. I never use them in the game really unless I have a sim that's planting, right? I don't know, I just don't really touch them. I don't know why. I find them tedious and I just don't care, you know? I also think that I want to make it my thing now, my little branding thing if you will, to put the like Grim Reaper gnome. You'll see me add it here in a couple minutes, but I think I want to make that a staple. So every build that I have, I'll maybe put that in the front yard now, just so it has like my little stamp of I've been here, Grimsimmer has been here, that's me. I did debate on what to put in this corner for kind of a long time, honestly. I decided to just go with some more plants just to fill it up. I wanted to maybe put another planter box like you saw me try, but it just was not gonna work and it just looked weird, you know, so I just didn't do it. There's not much more for me to add in the backyard, you know, I'm almost done. I add this big oak tree and then a couple lights and that's pretty much it for the backyard. There's me adding those gnomes that I mentioned, by the way. The Grim Reaper gnome is over by the stairs in the backyard, but I think that they look really cute. I love them. So I think I'm going to cut off this voiceover since we're reaching the screenshots here in a second, but comment down below any old sim lots you want to see me recreate and renovate in The Sims 4. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that way you can be notified every single time I upload more Sims content. See you in the next one. Bye!